James had gotten used to the quiet. Since his wife's passing, nights were spent alone after putting his two kids, Ella and Noah, to bed. His life was simple work during the day, dinner with the kids, and late-night repairs in the garage to earn extra cash. One stormy evening, as rain poured relentlessly, James was driving home after a late shift. The road was slick, visibility poor. Suddenly, he saw a faint light up ahead, a small car parked on the shoulder, hazard lights blinking weakly. Something in his gut told him to stop. Pulling over, he found a young woman in military uniform standing by the car, drenched and shivering, holding the hand of a little girl who looked about 5. The car's tire was flat, and they were clearly stranded. "Need some help?" James asked, stepping out into the rain. The soldier, whose name was Sarah, nodded gratefully. "We were on our way to visit my parents. I don't have a spare, and no one's stopping." James rolled up his sleeves, grabbed his tools, and got to work despite the downpour. Within minutes, he had the tire replaced and the car ready to go. Sarah and her daughter were soaked but smiling with relief. "You didn't have to do this," Sarah said softly. James shrugged. "No one should be left stranded in a storm, especially not you two." Before leaving, Sarah shook his hand firmly. "You have no idea what this means to me." "Thank you." James drove home that night soaked to the bone, unaware that this small act of kindness would soon bring something extraordinary to his doorstep. 3 days later, James was helping Ella with her science homework while Noah played with his toy cars on the floor. The house was quiet except for the sound of rain tapping against the windows. Suddenly, there was a firm knock at the door. James opened it to find Sarah standing there, dressed in civilian clothes this time, holding her daughter's hand. Both were smiling despite the drizzle outside. "I hope this isn't a bad time," Sarah said. "We just wanted to say thank you properly." Before James could answer, Sarah's daughter stepped forward, clutching a small card she had clearly made by hand. In colorful crayon, it read, "Thank you for helping my mommy." James felt a lump rise in his throat. "You didn't have to come all the way out here," he said softly, motioning them inside. Sarah smiled. "Actually, I wanted to. People don't usually stop for strangers anymore, but you did. I wanted my daughter to see what gratitude looks like." The evening turned into something unexpected. James brewed tea, the kids played together in the living room, and Sarah shared her story. She was a single mom, juggling military service, deployments, and raising her daughter. "Sometimes I feel like I'm fighting 2 battles at once," she admitted quietly. James understood that feeling all too well. They spoke about loss, about raising children alone, and about how hard it was to stay strong when everything felt heavy. For the first time in a long time, James felt truly understood. When Sarah left that night, she said something that stayed with him. "You didn't just fix my car, you reminded me there are still good people in the world." As James closed the door, he felt something stir in his chest, hope. Maybe this chance meeting wasn't random at all. Over the next few weeks, Sarah and her daughter visited often. What started as simple gratitude soon turned into a friendship neither of them expected. Sarah would stop by on her days off, sometimes bringing dinner, sometimes just to sit on the porch while the kids played. James found himself opening up in ways he hadn't since his wife passed. He told her about the nights he stayed up worrying about bills, about Ella's struggles at school, and Noah's fear of thunderstorms. Sarah, in turn, shared the challenges of balancing military life with motherhood. "People see the uniform and think we're unshakable," she said one evening, watching the kids chase each other through the yard. "But some days, I feel like I'm falling apart inside. James nodded. I know that feeling. But you keep going because you have to. That's what makes you strong. They began helping each other in small ways. When James had to work late, Sarah picked up Ella and Noah from school. When Sarah had an early morning drill, James watched her daughter so she wouldn't have to wake her up at dawn. The kids bonded quickly. Ella taught Sarah's daughter how to draw, and Noah proudly showed her his favorite toys. Soon, the house was filled with laughter again, a sound James had missed for too long. One rainy Saturday, they all stayed inside and cooked dinner together. Sarah glanced at James as he helped Noah stir the soup. You know, she said softly, I think we both needed that night on the road maybe more than we realized. James smiled, his heart lighter than it had been in years. Yeah, he said. I think you might be right. It was a quiet evening when the knock came. James opened the door to find Sarah standing there, her uniform soaked from the rain, her daughter clinging to her side. Her face was pale, her hands trembling. They've called me for deployment, she said softly. I leave in 2 weeks. James felt his stomach drop. Over the past months, Sarah had become part of their lives, not just a friend, but family. The thought of her leaving, of her little girl feeling alone, made his chest ache. Without hesitation, he said, she can stay with us while you're gone. We'll take care of her like she's our own. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. James. I don't know how to thank you. You already have, James said with a small smile. You reminded me that even in the middle of life's storms, there are still people worth trusting and reasons to keep moving forward. The next 2 weeks were bittersweet. They prepared Sarah's daughter for the separation, reassuring her she would be safe and loved. On the day Sarah left, she hugged James tightly. You've given me peace of mind I didn't know I'd have, she whispered. Months later, a letter arrived from Sarah. She wrote about the challenges of deployment but also about how the thought of her daughter laughing with Ella and Noah kept her going. You didn't just help me that night in the rain, the letter read. You saved me. You gave me hope. James folded the letter and smiled. The knock on his door had indeed changed everything, not just for Sarah and her daughter, but for him and his kids as well. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe for more motivational videos.